Hello and welcome to Access Sportsnet Lakers, driven by your Southern California Honda dealers. I'm Chris McGee, Hall of Famer, big game, James Worthy, 7-time champion, 7-0 in the finals. Big shot, Rob. We got Brez going to join us a little later. He's excited. We got Allie Clifton and Mike Trudell handling the post-game interviews. The Lakers even up the series. What an incredible atmosphere in the desert, guys. Final 3 minutes of a close game. Lakers defense turns it up. They hit clutch shots. Over those last 5 minutes, that was a 17-6 Laker run. Big game, James.
I tell you what, this game 2 was a real NBA playoff game. They had all the characteristics of what, playoff games are about. Intensity, high-octane players, out there working hard. But I thought the Lakers from the beginning showed that they were ready to play this time. Not that they were hitting all the shots that they were supposed to hit, but the intensity was there. They matched the effort. AD established himself early in the paint. Didn't get as much as he wanted to, but he did establish himself in the paint. And I thought, it was a 48-minute game of grinding and defending, and the Lakers did what they were supposed to do in moments. Shut them down, defended, and then they scored when they had to down the stretch. I thought they played a beautiful game those last 6 minutes.
Rob, I'm glad he said a 48-minute game. You got to give this Suns team a lot of credit. There was a lot of pressure on that Laker team. They were up 15 in that third quarter. You and I are watching this game together. Suns would not go away. They took the lead. The Lakers had to clutch up there at the end.
Yeah, Payne was a pain in our
he was.
He came out and played extremely well.
Booker unstoppable.
That's the thing about the playoffs. You have to win every quarter in the playoffs. The Lakers won 2 and tied 2, so that's a plus for them. That's why they won this game. The Suns made a run, and this going to be runs, but the Lakers stood pat. They didn't panic. They had a little inconsistency there with the offense, but on the other end, they played some good defense. And that's how you win this game. If you look at the way KCP, I know he's probably going to go in the locker room and say, yo, I didn't have a good game, but his defense on Booker down the stretch was good.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys, back to Phoenix. LeBron is standing by with Mike Trudell.
Hey, LeBron, it's the second time in the last week you've hit a big 3 in the final seconds. Just thinking about earlier in your career when that's what teams were trying to get you to shoot. How have you evolved that over the years, and how rewarding is that to have a shot like that come up in this type of a moment?
It's just about hard work and dedication, putting the hard work in, throughout the course of experiences, knowing what the defense has tried to give me over the course of my career, and then just working on that craft to where I can, hit big shots late in the game. And, great screen by AD. And I was able to knock it down.
Hey, when things got tight, Phoenix came back into the game. What did you guys do on the defensive end to give yourselves the opportunity to close it out?
Man, we got stop after stop after stop, and then we defensive rebound. One thing we didn't do in game 1, they owned us on the glass, especially the offensive glass. But tonight we covered the glass, and we were spectacular there.
I know it's important for you to get home court advantage back. You're not used to these situations where you're going you're the lower seed. Was that a big focus for you as you head back to Staples Center now tied at 1?
We just want to continue to play Laker basketball. Come in with aggression, both offensively and defensively. Play our game. And, do what we do. It's just about championship DNA, and we got there.
Thanks, LeBron. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
In a big way. How about Dennis Schroeder? This is the best he has looked since he came back, James. 24 points, 8 of 16, 14 of those points in a crucial second quarter for the Lakers. LeBron with 23. You heard Mike Trudell mention those big-time three-pointers. 4 of 9. He had that one in the corner, and then the one to ice the game. He also had 9 assists. And AD, what a game for Anthony Davis. 34 points, 14 of those in the decisive fourth quarter. He was also 14 of 17 from the free throw line. He had 10 rebounds, 7 assists, and 3 blocks. So let's start with Anthony Davis, because that's where the most criticism was after game 1, Rob. People, he only hit, 5 of 13. He was not engaged in the paint. He was more floating outside that three-point line. DeAndre Ayton's the one that had that great game. What did you like from AD tonight, especially in that fourth?
18 for 21. 18 for 21 from free throw line.
Yep.
That means he was being aggressive.
Oh, I said 7. Yeah, that's right. You're right. It's 18 of 21. Thank you.
I like him being aggressive. When AD is going north-south and going towards the basket and not shooting the fadeaways, when you're big, refs have a tendency not to give you the call when you're fading away, but when you're going towards the basket, they give you this call. He was active with his hand, he was moving his feet, and when he got switched out on guys, he stayed in front of them, and then the recovery on defense for a lot of times, getting back, blocking shots, and doing things of that nature. That's the aggressive AD you want to see.
Yeah, he mixed it up when he had to. I think there were times where he did have that 15-foot game, didn't knock as many down, but I also thought that when he needed to, he dove down in the post, took it to the paint, and was available for those internal passes. And defensively, I just think his antennas were up. He knew when he had to help, where to go help. That big block that he had at the end of the game was critical. So his antennas were up defensively. Overall, pretty good game for AD.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the defense, James. I believe the first possession of the game defensively, he started it off with a block. Rob, also a lot more catch and goes, and something you noticed when he hit those couple of threes. Feet were set, and what else? He was getting lift?
He was getting lift. And the thing about AD, we talked about it a couple of times in the breakdown, when he catches and rises up, and he gets his legs on it, he's going to knock it down. You see, if you go back and look at a couple of threes he took in his game, there was no lift front of the rim. And AD is one of those guys, when he's shooting his threes, because most bigs aren't normally shooting threes, he has to get his lower body into it. When he does that, he has good motion. And a lot of times he does that jerk motion that a lot of bigs do because they're so used to doing fadeaways in the paint, they think he has to do it on a three, which also causes him to be up short. But when he rises straight up, his body's vertical, he's good to go.
Let's talk a little LeBron James. You just heard him talking to Mike Trudell. I mean, we've been monitoring LeBron these last couple of weeks, especially coming back from that high ankle sprain. Coming up big in that fourth quarter, James, as we've seen time and time again, this time doing it with the three-pointers. He also had 9 assists to go along with those 23 points.
Yeah, and I don't really think he's 100%. He says he's not, but he still has enough bounce and enough speed and, enough, know where players are on the court. I thought he got players involved. I thought he made a little dime to Drummond in the paint, got him involved, deflections, and then getting out and doing this. Nice pass from AD. So I thought overall LeBron was aware of what he needed to do, what the team needed at the time. A lot of communication verbally going on out there. So, yeah, he was the director, the conductor tonight out there for the Lakers.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel a little worried because he hasn't spent one time in the last 2 games. When he goes and he spins.
The spin cycle?
Yeah, he hasn't spent one time.
Yeah.
So that lets me know that the ankle's not steady enough to do a lot of pivoting on it. He's just got to go straight forward. So hopefully in the next couple of days, that thing can still start to heal. I know it's no time because of the playoffs, but he needs to get the ankle right.
In the final game of the season in New Orleans, we were seeing that LeBron James until he went down, even though he says he's okay and he's ready to go. LeBron's not going to tell you he's going to play no matter what happens in these playoffs. But those are little things that we all look for. You haven't really seen the downhill, although he did catch a nice lob.
Yeah,
but that's different than the spin. That's straight ahead.
Yeah, off the left leg, he can do it.
Yeah. So he talked about that. He said his bounce is good off his left leg because that's his strong leg.